When?
Oh, hi. Hi, everyone. I'm so happy to be here with all of you. Those of you that know me know that I'm totally shaking and sweating right now. I even said at Crush, I said, my armpits are sweaty.
She did.
But given my background, most people would think I'm super comfortable up here. I grew up dancing competitively and doing professional theater. As soon as I was able, I left home to perform on cruise ships and have called the stage my home for the last 20 years. After meeting my husband, we moved to Las Vegas, and I performed in shows on the Strip. You may have seen my famous butt on the Bally's marquee.
Yes, girl.
Sorry.
We have 3 daughters now who are 11, 10, and 5. Our life has been beautiful and blessed. This might sound a bit strange or even dark, but I can remember thinking that everything was so great and worrying. Oh gosh, see what I mean? I'm like totally reading right now. Worrying about when that would all change. I knew I deserved blessings and happiness, but that usually in life there is a balance and that all people have struggle. Ours began in 2010. We lost our house and everything we put into it because of the market crash. My mom was diagnosed with ovarian cancer, and my husband Marty was diagnosed with cardiomyopathy. We were able to push his illness aside because his symptoms weren't very problematic and could be treated with just medication, but ovarian cancer is a brutal disease, and there was no pushing that aside. Our little girls kept us from complete despair and filled most of our days with joy. By 2014, my mom had had all the surgeries her doctors would do, but was still fighting, and Marty was working 3 jobs and had just finished his master's degree. He started feeling really terrible, and after a few trips to the ER, his cardiologist referred us to UCLA. There we were told that he needed a heart transplant. But because of complications, they would need to implant an LVAD to pump the left side of his heart while we waited for a donor. And on top of that, we would need to move to California, and he would need 2 caretakers. I was like, what? Long story short, made it happen, found an apartment, recruited my sister, and with the help of friends and family, we just moved. Hi. There was a lot on our plate. Marty was dealing with this machine that was keeping him alive, and I was away from my mom while she was sick, and I was trying to create a sense of normalcy for the girls. After 8 months, the LVAD was making Marty really stable. We told the UCLA doctors that we had to go home because we were out of money, and he needed to go back to work, and so did I. And we could wait for a heart at home. And fortunately, Marty was able to go back to his job, but I had been replaced because that's entertainment, right? And then 3 months after we were back to Las Vegas, my mom lost her battle with cancer. And it was really hard, and I prayed for strength and bravery. The next 6 months passed really slowly, lots of talking myself into getting up in the morning and crying in the shower, right? And then I glimpsed a little flash of light in my dark hole. My best friend Heather said, "Do you want to go to a wine tasting with me?" I had been approached by friends before asking me to join them in this business or that business, but nothing ever excited me enough to say yes. So when I learned about the wines and the causes, as the CEO went through her tasting, I was absolutely thinking, now this is something I could see myself doing. And I started to get a little excited. I didn't know this at the time, but this business would provide some other things that I desperately needed. Education, adventure, philanthropy, and even better, community and friendship. Soon I get chills. Soon after the tasting, I met this CEO for coffee. I knew from this first meeting that Lisa was special and that we were going to be really good friends. The timing was perfect, and I felt like it was almost like a gift from my mom. It helped lift me out of my grief And not just because it was something that I was doing to keep myself busy. It was first Lisa, and then our bigger mamas, Wendy and Carolyn, our whole team, and Katie and Jake, and the home office, and the founding leaders, and our Facebook community, and my hosts, and my customers, and all the nonprofits, and all these new relationships. They are what lifted me up and helped to mend my heart. Over the next couple of years, there were highs and lows with my new business, but throughout, I've always had a ton of fun. I've had awesome tastings and complete duds. Figured out what I enjoy doing and what I think I'm good at, and where I need to push myself to be better. I've been able to hit director only a few times, but I've always showed up. I want One Hope to be a part of my life. During those years, my husband had also been showing up. He worked full-time as a high school teacher, and he really just lived. He became accustomed to the LVAD, plugging into the wall at night, taking batteries with us everywhere, monthly trips to UCLA, and it's hard to even describe what an ordeal a shower was, but we managed because that's what we do. Then, over Thanksgiving last year, his team suspected a blood clot inside the pump of the VAD. He would have to stay in the hospital and wait for a donor. At least this time we wouldn't have to move, just do a lot of traveling back and forth. It was December 18th that we got our gift. I like to describe it as a very scary blessing. There's mixed emotions that come with organ donation. It was almost Christmas break, so thank goodness our girls were able to be with me. They kept me from freaking out during the hardest days that were to come. When they needed to go back to school, they stayed with Heather and her family. There was a meal train organized for us. And she kept asking me, Heather kept asking me, who is this person? Who's that person? And I would say, she's with One Hope. They're really amazing. Pretty sure that's why Heather finally joined my team, and I'm so happy that she did because she gets all of you. This community was the support system that helped get me through this. Your FaceTime calls, messages, prayers, and gifts. I was blessed with all of your kindness. Whew. Throughout these past 8 months, my focus has shifted for sure, but I've tried to keep up with my business, even if it meant just qualifying. I want to hold it close. Also, when Crush was announced, there was no way that I was going to miss it. I needed to be with my wine family. We were pretty broke, and of course we're still pretty broke, but to my surprise, I had forgotten all about my commissions from November until March, and I had $800 built up in my Via One Hope account. Plenty enough to get me to Crush. I'm happy to share that Marty is now 6 months post-transplant and starting to feel really strong. It's pretty incredible. We are all hopeful for our new future and are trying to live a life of gratitude. Thank you for being such an amazing village and allowing me to share my journey with you. What we have in One Hope is so much more than just a business. We're all truly blessed with this community.